1 minute ago. Kelly Clarkson's statement stuns everyone, testifies in Diddy trial. The courtroom was already buzzing with tension when the door swung open and Kelly Clarkson stepped inside. No fanfare, no entourage, just the soft shuffle of her heels as the room fell silent. Her presence was enough to send a ripple of shock through the packed gallery. The woman known for her powerful voice and down-to-earth charm had arrived in a place filled with secrets, power, and revelations, but she wasn't there for headlines. As she moved toward the witness stand, the collective gasp echoed through the room. She was not someone expected to be involved in Diddy's trial, yet there she was. No sunglasses to hide behind, no designer clothes or bodyguards, just Kelly, quiet but determined. It wasn't the glamorous, bright-eyed pop star we had come to know over the years. This was someone on a mission, someone who had come to expose a hidden truth. The prosecution had already called in several high-profile celebrities to testify, but no one was prepared for what Kelly Clarkson was about to reveal. She was about to carry a burden that had been thrust upon her, one she couldn't ignore any longer. As her eyes scanned the courtroom, there was no searching for sympathy or approval. She wasn't here for herself. She was here for someone else, the woman who had trusted her, the woman who had disappeared without a trace. She paused for a moment, steadying her breath before speaking words that would send shockwaves through the entire legal system. "I didn't come here for headlines," she said, her voice laced with quiet strength. "I came here for her." In that moment, it became clear to everyone present the stakes were higher than anyone had imagined. Kelly Clarkson wasn't just a witness. She was a key to unlocking a truth that had been buried under the weight of fear, power, and silence. Kelly Clarkson was born on April 24, 1982 in Fort Worth, Texas, to Jean Taylor, a first-grade teacher, and Stephen Michael Clarkson, a former engineer. Growing up in a middle-class family, Kelly had a modest upbringing far from the glittering world of stardom that would eventually become her reality. Raised alongside her brother Jason and her sister Alyssa, Kelly was the oldest child in a family that struggled with some turbulence. Her parents divorced when she was just 6 years old, and she was raised primarily by her mother. This early experience of change and challenge would later shape much of Kelly's character, grounding her in a sense of resilience and independence. As a child, Kelly showed an early interest in music. She would often sing along to the radio, putting on performances for her family. But it wasn't until she was in high school that she truly began to hone her talent. She attended Burleson High School, where she participated in choirs and was heavily involved in the school's music programs. Though she wasn't yet a household name, her talent was undeniable, and she had dreams of making it big. Despite not being particularly wealthy, Kelly always had a drive to pursue a career in music, something her mother supported wholeheartedly despite their limited financial resources. In the early stages of her career, Kelly faced the same struggles that many aspiring musicians face: rejection, doubt, and the overwhelming desire to break into the tough and competitive entertainment industry. Kelly didn't have a fairy tale start in music. She didn't have a famous mentor or wealthy connections. Instead, she had her voice and an unrelenting belief in herself. Her big break came in 2002 when she auditioned for the first season of American Idol, a reality competition show that would change her life forever. What began as a simple desire to share her talent with the world would soon turn into something far larger. Before American Idol, Kelly had worked various jobs to make ends meet. She spent time as a waitress, a barista, and even worked as a telemarketer, all while holding on to her dream of becoming a singer. Her big moment came when she made it through the initial auditions for American Idol. Her powerful rendition of "Respect" by Aretha Franklin left the judges in awe. The moment she opened her mouth, Kelly showed that she was different. She was a powerhouse, someone who could not only sing with incredible range, but who also possessed the emotional depth and relatability that would make her a favorite of the audience. Kelly made it all the way to the top, winning American Idol in September 2002, a victory that marked the beginning of her incredible career. Winning American Idol was just the start, but it came with its own challenges. The show in many ways was a springboard, but it also tied contestants to a certain brand and image. For Kelly, that meant finding a balance between being a part of the American Idol phenomenon and establishing her own identity as an artist. She was determined not to be boxed in by the show's pop-friendly image. Her debut single, A Moment Like This, topped the charts and became an instant anthem, but it was her debut album, Thankful 2003, that truly solidified her as a serious artist. The album, which sold over 4 million copies in the US alone, showcased a blend of pop and soul, with Kelly's signature powerhouse vocals leading the way. The success of the album and the singles that followed, including Miss Independent and Before Your Love, made Kelly one of the biggest pop stars of the early 2000s. Despite her newfound fame, Kelly's journey was anything but smooth. As she navigated the ups and downs of the music industry, she began to feel the weight of the pressure placed on her as a pop sensation. At the height of her success, she began to question the direction her career was taking, struggling with the expectations of being a pop princess while wanting to show more depth in her music. Her second album, Breakaway 2004, was a bold step in a different direction. The album incorporated more rock and pop rock influences, and Kelly embraced a more authentic version of herself. Songs like Since You've Been Gone and Because of You resonated with a global audience, allowing Kelly to establish herself as an artist with real emotional depth and relatable experiences. The album's commercial success was undeniable. Breakaway went on to sell over 12 million copies worldwide, earning Kelly her first Grammy Award for Best Pop Vocal Album. It marked a turning point in her career, but it also deepened her inner conflict. Kelly had grown increasingly disillusioned with the business side of the music industry. In 2006, she spoke out about her frustration with her label's influence on her music. She had been working with RCA Records, which she felt was pushing her to create music that didn't align with her true voice. This growing tension led to a public fallout with her label, which had a profound impact on Kelly's career and her personal life. She was no longer just a pop star. She was an artist struggling to define herself in a world that often only wanted her to fit into a mold. Amidst the tension, Kelly found solace in her personal life. She married Brandon Blackstock, a talent manager, in 2013. The couple had 2 children together, and Kelly became an advocate for family-life balance, often sharing glimpses into her life as a mother and wife on social media. Her role as a mother was deeply important to her, and her children became a grounding force during the chaotic years of her career. Kelly's evolution as an artist took on new dimensions with each album. Her third album, My December 2007, was a more introspective effort marked by a darker, more vulnerable sound. While the album didn't enjoy the same level of commercial success as Breakaway, it garnered critical acclaim for its raw emotion and candid exploration of Kelly's internal struggles. It was on this album that Kelly truly began to assert herself as a songwriter, showcasing a depth that her pop music had not allowed. She was no longer just a vocalist. She was a storyteller, laying bare her personal experiences with an honesty that had been previously reserved for her private life. Her career continued to evolve, with Kelly embracing a wide range of musical styles and projects. She ventured into television, serving as a coach on The Voice from 2017 to 2018, where she became known for her nurturing and empathetic approach to mentoring aspiring singers. The show allowed Kelly to step outside the confines of the music industry and establish a reputation as a mentor and voice of encouragement. Her move into television further solidified her status as one of the most beloved and versatile entertainers of her generation. As Kelly Clarkson's career progressed, she began to reflect more on the experiences that had shaped her. Her outspoken nature, particularly about her struggles with the music industry and her advocacy for women's rights, gave her an authenticity that resonated with fans. It wasn't just her voice anymore, it was her story that connected with people. She wasn't a manufactured pop star. She was a woman who had fought for her voice, fought for her truth, and was willing to be vulnerable in front of the world. This was the foundation of Kelly Clarkson's journey. Her honesty, her personal struggles, and the drive to be true to herself, no matter the obstacles. By the time Kelly testified in Diddy's trial, she had become more than just a chart-topping pop singer. She was a symbol of strength, honesty, and vulnerability. Her journey had taught her to confront the hard truths about the music industry and about life. And now she was using her voice to shed light on the darker aspects of that world. Her appearance at the trial was more than just an unexpected twist. It was the culmination of years of growth struggle and perseverance. The woman who had once quietly stood in the background, unsure of where her place was in the chaotic world of fame, was now standing in the forefront, ready to reveal the truth, no matter the cost. Through every challenge, Kelly Clarkson had learned one invaluable lesson. The truth, no matter how difficult or painful, would always find its way to the surface. And she, more than anyone, understood the power of using her voice to ensure that truth was heard. Kelly Clarkson's rise to fame was nothing short of meteoric, propelled by her undeniable talent, relatable personality, and a defining moment that would change her life forever. When Kelly auditioned for American Idol in 2002, she was just another aspiring singer hoping to make a name for herself in an industry filled with fierce competition. At the time, she was a young woman from a small town in Texas, working various jobs to make ends meet, while nurturing a dream that seemed nearly impossible to reach. What she didn't know, however, was that her audition would be the beginning of one of the most remarkable journeys in modern pop music history. Her audition in Dallas for American Idol became one of the most iconic moments in reality television. With her powerhouse voice and an emotionally charged rendition of Aretha Franklin's Respect, Kelly captured the attention of the judges and audiences alike. Simon Cowell, known for his tough critiques, immediately took notice of her potential, giving her a pass to the next round. But what truly set Kelly apart was not just her voice, but her down-to-earth personality and her ability to connect with viewers. She wasn't a manufactured pop star with a glossy image. She was a relatable small-town girl who seemed real, humble, and sincere. Audiences quickly fell in love with Kelly, and her popularity grew as the competition advanced. As American Idol progressed, Kelly began to establish herself as the clear frontrunner. She wasn't just a contestant, she was a force to be reckoned with. Her performances were consistently praised, with each performance showcasing her wide vocal range and emotional depth. As the competition went on, Kelly's performances resonated deeply with both the judges and the public. Hits like Respect at Last and I Surrender became defining moments, with Kelly's voice soaring above the competition. But her true breakout moment came with the finale of the first season of American Idol. On September 4, 2002, Kelly Clarkson was crowned the first ever American Idol champion, winning the nation's heart and taking the top spot over Justin Guarini. The victory was not just a personal triumph for Kelly, it was a cultural moment that defined the early 2000s music landscape. Kelly's victory signaled the dawn of a new era for pop music and reality television, and it catapulted her from an unknown singer to a household name almost overnight. Her debut single, A Moment Like This, was released shortly after her win. The song, a triumphant ballad about overcoming obstacles, quickly became a chart-topping hit and solidified Kelly's place in the music industry. It was the perfect song for her to announce her arrival on the scene, emotional, powerful, and completely authentic. The song quickly hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became an anthem for those who followed her journey on American Idol. But it was her debut album, Thankful 2003, that truly established Kelly Clarkson as a force in the music industry. The album was a mix of pop, R&B, and soul influences, showcasing Kelly's versatile voice and broad range of musical interests. Miss Independent. The album's lead single was a declaration of independence, a theme that would become central to Kelly's career. The song quickly became a fan favorite and charted in the top 10, showing the world that Kelly was more than just a reality show winner. She was a talented and marketable artist. The success of Thankful was further propelled by hits like Before Your Love and Some Kind of Miracle, both of which continued to showcase Kelly's ability to connect with her audience. Thankful eventually went on to sell over 4 million copies in the US alone, and Kelly's new role as a pop star was solidified. But despite her success, Kelly remained grounded, refusing to conform to the expectations placed on her by the music industry. While many artists in her position might have sought to capitalize on the American Idol brand, Kelly was determined to carve out her own path. This independence would become a defining characteristic of Kelly Clarkson's career. She was never afraid to challenge the norms of the industry, even when it seemed like she had everything to lose. She wasn't just content with being another pop star. She wanted to be known for her authenticity, her musical versatility, and her ability to tell stories through her music. That spirit of rebellion paired with her immense talent was part of what allowed Kelly to rise above the typical idol trajectory and establish herself as a true artist in her own right. Kelly's second album, Breakaway 2004, marked a crucial turning point in her career. With Breakaway, Kelly distanced herself from the manufactured pop image she had been given after winning American Idol and embraced a more rock-influenced, raw sound. The album's title track, Breakaway, was a deeply personal reflection of Kelly's own experiences growing up and breaking free from the constraints of her past. It resonated with millions of fans and quickly became a hit, signaling Kelly's shift toward a more mature and authentic sound. But it was Since You've Been Gone that truly made Kelly Clarkson a household name. The song, with its anthemic chorus and empowering message, became one of her most iconic tracks, earning her critical acclaim and numerous accolades. Since You've Been Gone marked the beginning of a new phase in Kelly's career, one where she was no longer just a reality show winner, but a powerhouse in the pop music world. The song hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became one of the defining anthems of the mid-2000s, cementing Kelly's place in pop culture. The success of Breakaway was undeniable. The album went on to sell more than 12 million copies worldwide, earning Kelly multiple Grammy Awards, including Best Pop Vocal Album and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance for Since You've Been Gone. Her popularity skyrocketed and she became one of the most beloved artists of her generation. With her success, Kelly began to distance herself from the pressures of the American Idol machine and forged her own identity as an artist. As her fame grew, Kelly faced new challenges. The constant scrutiny of her personal life and her struggles with the music industry's expectations weighed heavily on her. She was no longer just a pop star, she was a woman trying to navigate the complexities of fame while staying true to herself. This inner struggle would become a central theme in her later music as she began to explore deeper emotional and personal themes in her songwriting. Her third album, My December 2007, reflected this emotional depth. It was a more introspective album dealing with themes of heartbreak, betrayal, and self-discovery. Though the album received mixed reviews and wasn't as commercially successful as Breakaway, it became a critical favorite and showed the world a more vulnerable and artistic side of Kelly. She had officially broken away from the cookie-cutter pop mold and was now fully embracing her artistic freedom. But Kelly's ability to rise above challenges didn't just end with her music. As she faced public scrutiny over her image and personal life, she remained one of the most relatable celebrities in Hollywood. She was open about her struggles with body image, mental health, and the pressures of fame, often using her platform to discuss these issues with honesty and vulnerability. This transparency made her even more beloved by fans who saw her not just as a pop star, but as a real, relatable person. Kelly's success continued to grow in the following years. She expanded her career into television, becoming a coach on The Voice in 2017. Her time on the show allowed her to mentor young talent, furthering her status as a multifaceted entertainer. Kelly also began to host her own talk show, The Kelly Clarkson Show, in 2019, which became a major success, showcasing her charm, humor, and authenticity. As Kelly Clarkson's fame continued to soar, she remained a symbol of authenticity in an industry that often prizes image over substance. Her rise to fame was marked by her refusal to be boxed in by industry expectations. She carved out her own path and, in doing so, became one of the most beloved and enduring stars of her generation. Her career wasn't just about the chart-topping hits. It was about staying true to herself, using her voice to empower others, and creating music that resonated deeply with her fans. Now, as Kelly Clarkson steps into a new phase of her career, her rise to fame stands as a testament to the power of authenticity and the resilience of the human spirit. She didn't just rise to fame, she built an empire of truth, vulnerability, and self-expression, and that is the legacy she continues to create. Despite her meteoric rise to fame, Kelly Clarkson's journey was not without its shadows. Behind the scenes of her successful career, she struggled with the darker side of the music industry, the pressure to conform, the manipulation of her image, and the intense scrutiny of her personal life. While she was celebrated as one of the most relatable stars of her generation, Kelly was also battling an internal war against the very system that had made her famous. As her career soared, Kelly began to realize how much control the industry had over her, particularly when it came to her music and image. She was often torn between the expectations of her label and her own artistic integrity. This struggle came to a head with her second album, Breakaway. While the album was a massive commercial success, Kelly felt increasingly alienated by the pop-centric direction her label had pushed her toward. She wanted to make more rock-infused music, something that felt more authentic to her, but the pressure to fit into a certain pop mold was overwhelming. The battle for creative control left her feeling frustrated and disillusioned with the industry, setting the stage for her to take a stand. The conflict over her music wasn't just professional, it was deeply personal. In 2007, Kelly faced a highly publicized fallout with her record label RCA over the direction of her third album, My December. This album, which reflected Kelly's desire to move beyond her pop persona, was met with resistance from RCA. The label was concerned that it would alienate her pop audience. Kelly fought back, determined to follow her artistic instincts despite the pushback. My December was a raw, introspective album that saw Kelly explore darker themes of heartbreak, anger, and vulnerability. While it was well received by critics, it didn't achieve the same commercial success as Breakaway, and Kelly's relationship with her label became strained to the point of near breakdown. The pressure and stress of her career continued to take a toll on Kelly's mental health, and the personal struggles she faced began to bleed into her public persona. Her divorce from Brandon Blackstock in 2020 was another painful chapter in Kelly's life, one that was highly publicized and scrutinized by the media. While she had always been open with her fans about the challenges she faced, the end of her marriage marked a difficult and vulnerable period in her life. Amidst the chaos, she found solace in her children and her work, but the emotional strain was undeniable. But perhaps the darkest chapter of Kelly's story came with her involvement in the trial that would shake the music industry to its core. Kelly had known a woman, a fellow artist, who had confided in her about the dark side of the entertainment world, an underground culture of silence, fear, and manipulation. When this woman disappeared, Kelly was left haunted by her absence, and it wasn't until years later, as the Diddy trial unfolded, that the full scope of her friend's story began to surface. In a courtroom filled with revelations, Kelly's testimony became the key to unlocking the truth behind a network of corruption and abuse in the entertainment industry. She revealed that her friend had been a victim of a system designed to suppress voices, erase truth, and keep the powerful untouchable. The trial exposed a web of secrecy and intimidation, a world where those who dared to speak out against the system were silenced, often at great cost. Kelly's involvement in the case brought her face to face with the very dark forces she had once unknowingly witnessed. As the trial unfolded, Kelly found herself confronting not only the music industry's toxic undercurrents, but also her own role in a system that allowed such horrors to exist. The dark side of fame and success, the pressure, the manipulation, and the silence, became an inescapable part of her story. It was a reminder that even the brightest stars in the industry could be consumed by the shadows lurking behind the scenes. But Kelly, having survived the battles within her career, emerged from the trial as a woman who had found her voice again, using it to confront the darkness head-on and bring it into the light. While her journey had always been marked by triumphs and struggles, Kelly Clarkson's involvement in the trial showed the true cost of fame, the sacrifices made behind the scenes, the voices that were lost along the way, and the heavy toll of keeping silent in a world built on power and fear. In standing up for her friend and confronting the system that had sought to bury the truth, Kelly Clarkson had not only found her voice, she had reclaimed her power. Kelly Clarkson's testimony in the trial was not just a moment of personal reckoning. It was a call for accountability in an industry that had long been shielded by its own power. As the trial drew to a close, Kelly's words reverberated beyond the courtroom, sending shockwaves through the music industry and beyond. The truth had been laid bare. A system built on fear, silence, and manipulation could no longer stand unchallenged. Her courage to step forward to speak for the voices that had been erased became a beacon of hope for survivors everywhere. Kelly had taken a deeply personal pain and transformed it into a powerful force for change. By revealing the darkest corners of an industry she had once been a part of, she ensured that the truth would no longer be silenced. The final revelation, the unmasking of the system that had thrived on secrecy, was a pivotal moment in her journey. Kelly's role in exposing this truth had not only freed her from the burden of silence, but had also inspired countless others to stand up for what was right. Now, as the world watched, the challenge remained. Will we continue to stay silent, or will we, like Kelly, choose to speak out and demand justice? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to our channel, Legends of Black Excellence, for more inspiring stories like this one.